So let's start with the first thing. The first thing is variables. Okay, variables. In Python, when you want to write a variable, you just type. Okay, you just type maybe x is equal to 3. So x is a variable, right? And the value is what? Is 3. You don't need to declare x. The fact that x is equal to 3, this means x is an integer. If I write x is equal to I am a boy, in this case, x is a string. Is that understood? If I write x is equal to 5.5, what is x? X is a float, isn't it? That is a decimal number, a decimal point number. If I write that x is equal to a, x is a string as well, right? Because string can be a letter or loss, but in Pseudocode we call it a character. And some other programming language call it a character because it's just only one. But in Pseudocode, you must declare. You must declare. You must write the keyword declare and always write in capital letter. The keywords of Pseudocode, please write them in capital letter. Okay? So you instead of writing x equal to 3, then you must declare x as integer. But it is not a good practice to write x, y, a, b. You always write the name of your variable in the context of the question you are solving. Okay, so instead of writing x, you can write number. Instead of writing x, you can say string. It depends on what question you are solving. Is that understood? So I can write declare num, then integer. Integer. So after num has been declared as an integer, then I can write num is equal to 3. So instead of writing equal to 3 as we have in Python, the equal to here is a backward arrow. Is this understood? So this is num is equal to 3. So what you have here, okay, and what you have in this line of code is the same. But in Python, we have it as what? As one line of code, but in pseudocode, we have it as 2 lines of code. Operators in pseudocode. Okay, before I explain the operators in pseudocode, for your exam in paper 2, you will be given this document for your exam. This document is called an insert. It's called what? So this document is what you use for your exam. It contains a list of functions and some selected operators. Not all operators are here, just some selected, okay? But for this study, I will mention all the operators, okay? Division is this, multiplication, then addition, subtraction, less than. In Python, we use plus for concatenation of strings, isn't it? But in pseudocode, we use this ampersand for string concatenation. We don't use plus. Is that understood? We don't use plus in pseudocode. Then greater than or equal to. So you can see assignments. Less than or equal to. Equal to in pseudocode, we use this single equal to for comparison. Unlike Python, where you use two equal to for comparison. Is this understood? So in pseudocode, we use single equal to for comparison. And here we also have not equal to. So if I'm writing this in Python, I know that Python will be not equal to, okay? For example, if x is not equal to 3, in pseudocode, I write it as if x is not equal to 3. In pseudocode, like I said earlier, you write num is equal to 3, but in Python, you write it as what? Num is equal to 3. Okay? In pseudocode, you write if x is equal to 3. This is for comparison. But in Python, we write it as if x is equal to 3. It is double equal to for Python. Then we have AND. Likewise, we also have AND in Python, right? But the AND in Python is small letter AND, isn't it? So we have OR to check for to compare for two values. Not. Then mode. This is your modulus in Python. In Python, you write it as if like 9 modulus 2. 9 modulus 2 is what, everyone? It is 1, isn't it? That means you return the remainder, isn't it? But in pseudocode, we have it as mode. So you write it as 9 mod 2. Is this understood? 9 mod 2 is also what? Is also equal to 1. Is this understood? So you don't write this percentage symbol, but you write mod in pseudocode. And also I have div. Div, it will return the quotient, not division. Div is not division. So this is returns the quotient, right? And why do you do that in Python? Instead of writing div in Python, we use floor division, right? So that 9 floor division 2 in Python is what? Is 4, isn't it? But in pseudocode, 9 div2 is what? Is 4. Is this understood? Input is used to get characters, anything from the user, right? Characters from the user. While output is used what? To display characters. So if I write print, welcome, Mr. Ismail, isn't it? So when you print it, what does it give to you? It gives you welcome, Mr. Ismail, right? But in pseudocode, you don't write print, you write the keyword output. Output. Output, Mr. Output, welcome, Mr. Ismail. Okay. So output, then this should be welcome, Mr. Ismail. Or if I write num is equal to 5, then I can write output num. Num will not be in quotes, right? So this can print the value of what? Of num, and not num as a string. Is this understood? If I put num in quotes, it prints what? Num as a what? As a string. Input. Just write input. Then x is equal to input. If you look at this, x is equal to input. When you run this, nothing is printed out, but it is still expecting an input from the user, because that keyword input means give us an input. If I write an input now, let me say 6. Now the value of x is now 6. Is that understood? Whatever is inputted is saved in x. So the same thing what I wrote here. Input num means there is nothing displayed to the user. Nothing is displayed to the user. But whatever the user input is saved in num. Is this understood? I can also write it this way. I can also write that input word. Nothing is displayed to the user. But whatever the user input is saved in what? In word. Is this understood? If I want to display something, I can write output. Please enter a word. Then write input word. Is this understood? So what is the first thing? The first thing is that this message will be displayed to the user, right? After displaying to the user, then it receives the input and save it into what? Into the variable word. Is this understood? Into the variable word. Just like if I have it here, I can also have it here and write inputs. Please enter a word. Is this understood? Then when I run this, then it shows me the message. Okay, so when I now input anything, it is saved in what? In X. Is this understood? Just like I have it here, it is saved in Word. Now, after writing this, I can write print. Print what? X, right? So that is the value input will be what? Will be printed out, isn't it? So if I run this again, let me input 6. What is outputted? 6. But this 6 input is a string, right? It's not a string. Anything input is a string, right? anything input is a what? Is a string. So I cannot use it in the calculation. So if I write that x is equal to x plus 2, then I write print 2, then print x, then this will give me an error, right? Because the input is what? Is a string. I hope you guys understand this. So if I write 3, then you can see there's an error. Why is it giving me an error? Because it's expecting me to convert back to an integer. It was a what? It was a string. We need to convert to a number. Is this understood? So before I use this x, that means I must have integer, right? Then this will not give me an error. Then this gives me the value of what? 2. Then gives me 4. Is this understood? It gives me 4 without an error because the word has been converted to what? The input has been converted to an integer. But in pseudocode, you don't need to do that. Is this understood? You don't need to do that in pseudocode. When you write inputs, num, the input is now saved in what? In num. Then you can write num is equal to num plus 2. Is that understood? That means add 2 to num, then output num. Is this understood? So it's the same code I've written, but in pseudocode, you don't need to convert to integer before you now add. We need 2 numbers. That means we need 2 variables, isn't it? And we need another variable to what? To hold the sum, isn't it? Before the sum is outputted. So that means we need to declare many variables. 3. So we declare. So the solution. Declare num1, num2, sum, integer. Can you see? I declared the 3 in one line because they're the same data type, right? Good. Then after writing that, or I can also write declare 3 times as well. Okay. Then what is the next thing? You tell the user to give you the first number, right? So you write output. Please enter the first number. Then you now receive the number into a what? Into a variable, right? What is the variable? Num1. For the second number, then I write output. Please enter the second number. Then I write input num2. So the 2 numbers is now in, right? Isn't it? Yeah. So what do we need to do? We need to sum, right? So you can now write sum is equal to 0. Sum is equal to num1 plus what? Num2. Then you write num1 plus num2, no space between num1 and num2. Then you write output sum. I hope this is understood. So this is a full pseudocode program to receive 2 inputs from the user and output the sum of the 2 inputs. Is this understood, everyone? So if you want to output this sum with a suitable message, then you write output the sum of the numbers is equal to, you close the quote, then comma sum. Okay, good. The basic data types in pseudocode.